really keen to see how G2 fare up against Na'Vi, especially after winning their game last week.
Well, let's see which map we're going to play on. So we'll pick it out there and I'll start off with our map ban. Again, 7 map pool. We'll go down through them, 6 bans until we're left with 1. Our decider, which is best of 1. Of course, Cafe Dostoevsky will be played. A map both of these teams are very strong on. Na'Vi, I remember when Doki still rejoined Na'Vi on the main roster, he was, for lack of a better term, dumpstering people on Cafe in that first game. Des, you're looking at this. Both teams look to be prepared and poised well for Cafe.
I will agree that Na'Vi used to be strong on this map when it first came out. They were really popular with Cafe. They played it like the first time it came out and didn't do super well. This year, it has been their most banned map. They have only played it twice so far this year. However, they have won it. Oddly enough, G2 have also done the same. They've only played it twice this year. And both teams have faced off against the same opponents, Fours and Chaos. And I think for the side of Na'Vi, it was 2-0. They won both of their fixtures. G2 lost their one to Chaos. So if you're looking at it based on history, you'd give it over to Na'Vi. But we're in a completely different season now. There are new rosters in place. It's anyone's guess how this one plays out.
Dev, I want to ask you something even more specific than that. In the last Playday on Oregon, we saw how Na'Vi were kind of bringing the Kali constantly. Because we see the Thatcher ban pretty much all the time, do you expect to see the operator being played here in their hands?
It depends on whether the Maverick's banned. In my opinion, Maverick is just so good on Cafe. So if you see both the Thatcher and the Maverick banned, yeah, we're probably going to see some Kali. But I don't know whether the teams are going to go for that. I'd rather see something else. Like, I'd love to see the Maverick in there or the Thatcher in there, but who knows? We've seen quite a few double Thatcher Maverick bans, and a lot of the time when you do that, it's because you have confidence in your ability to play Kali or use whether it's grenades or whatever to clear off the wall denial gadgets, but you don't have confidence. You think that you're going to be better at doing that than the other team is. And honestly, I don't think that either of these teams is going to be like super cocky about the fact that they're going to be better at doing that with the Kali than the other team. So I don't know, maybe they just want to take it to like a really uncomfortable and new kind of unexplored territory with that, in which case we might see that. But otherwise, no, I reckon we'll see the Maverick maybe hopefully slip through.
I want to remind everybody that Echo on the defense is banned for now. There's an issue with the operator. It'll be reintroduced later once a hotfix will hit the servers. Who knows when? Well, let's go through our social stuff, though. What do you guys think about this match? We always ask you that question. You can go and vote on these matches on Twitter on the R6 Esports EU account. 78% for G2, 18% for Na'Vi, 4% for Draw. Des, even you were going for G2 today. You posted on socials. Even James was doing it today. And, you know, I responded a bit weirdly with, you know, like maybe UK not so massive tonight. As a question still in people's heads.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough, right? I mean, looking at how G2 played the other day against Rogue, it was clinical. There was very little you could pick apart in their gameplay, but equally, Rogue didn't really stretch them. And Na'Vi, as we mentioned earlier on, had their issues with Panix's communication. So I'm hoping that today, with Na'Vi being back at full strength, and we get to see, in the same way from Tempera, we had P4 stepping up, we see Panix step up for Na'Vi today, and really give G2 a challenge. Because I think if you stretch them, they can be broken.
Okay. Final thoughts, James?
I don't think G2 are going to be expecting to go to Cafe. It's Navi's most banned map, as you said, Des, and G2 has had mixed results on it recently. So I think that rather than relying on prep to expect that it's going to be Cafe, G2 just have to, well, hopefully we'll see players like Kanto, Citizen, Pengu really step it up like they did last week. And I think that'll be the key to G2's success.
All right, G2 versus Na'Vi. That's Cafe Dostoevsky on to casters.
I have one question, Jess.
Ooh.
Are we going to be seeing Tachanka again?
Oh, goodness me. You know what I hope G2 does, and we've seen them popularize this very recently? Fuse. Cafe's the map to do it. So is Coastline.
Definitely.
We're onto it. You know what? Get Uno on the Fuse and just absolutely blow this place apart. So that's what I want to see. But we see this map fly through. There's a lot of verticality that Fuse can be very detrimental in HAP. So if we don't see that, I'll be pretty upset. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, it's a Russian map, right? It's a Russian consulate. Right. So let's get the Russian operator some representation. Not sure though why there's a Russian consulate in. It's not a consulate actually. It's a cafe. Never mind. I thought it was a consulate.
Cafe
I'm not sure actually. Yeah, it's a cafe.
On,
but I just saw the Russian flag and I was like, you know. But then I realized there's Russian cars in front. I'm like, it's not a consulate. It's just a cafe. I have been bamboozled.
You have, and another bamboozling fact here, Hap, is that IQ is off the board, and what I like about that is whether or not they will counter ban Valkyrie as a result, or whether or not this is just for a complete other reason. Maybe there's something else that they're hoping to get away with. Maybe they're just very fully aware that magnets and every other sort of electronic device can be spotted out by IQ, and they don't want that. They want to play very sneaky with that. We've seen Wamai used to great effect on Cafe, so possibly that's what they're going to be going for. But this last ban coming out will be very key, and because Echo's auto banned, it means they'll pick the Valkyrie. And I don't know whether or not this is just a hand-in-hand ban or whether it's a counter ban.
That's an interesting one indeed. Like, the Valkyrie does give away a lot of information to the defensive team, so I would totally understand if you don't want to deal like with that. Of course, Navi is starting on the defense themselves, but you know, at some point you're also going to have to swap over, as Citizen and Doki are giving each other special have funs. You know, ex-teammates coming in as well. Second time they play each other right now in this current setup. There's the Ying being brought out straight away, and a blitz from Pengu. So that's an interesting setup right here from G2. And we kind of talked about it before a bit with James, that the meta has been changing and it's a lot more flexible now. And if you're looking at these current operators, I would definitely agree on that, because if you would have checked back like 3 months ago, I don't think we would have seen, let's say, half these operators that are on the board right now.
Well, talking about half of those operators, Saves is going to rock the Oryx, who has only just been put in competitive play recently, and he's great at being able to climb up and down hatches, of course, up. The only operator that can fly up them, other than Amaru, of course, on the attack. So you'll see him zooming around with his Bailiff, opening up a bunch of these hatches so that he can move around very freely. And there we go. Thanks to Medics, he'll catch that one and give you guys a little bit of a preview. Is exactly how Oryx can move around the map. He might be very key to a lot of the roam for Na'Vi, but I guarantee, given the operators that we're seeing from G2, either they rush in or they clear top down very fast. You've got a Blitz, you've got an Amaru. I want to see G2 use that to full effect here.
Penguin wanted to get his drone on the roof, but kind of failed there, unfortunately. But yeah, definitely true. Like, we're either going to see a quick rush to come in or the top down, as you portrayed before, and but maybe it's going to be the latter one. But Virtue already going to get down, but no out. Still going to be the follow-up from Kendrick to come in, though, and that means Virtue can be recovered, actually. With that, they will keep their Heart Breacher up on the board, but they're going to have to wait before someone's actually going to be coming there. Most likely, they'll first try to get some more control of the top floor, as well, basically everybody of G2 is currently occupied with doing so.
Oh no, unfortunately Virtue was all by himself over on that side of the map. The window's open on red as well, so this is a really bad position to rappel down. They're very aware of it, so Uno needs to pick Virtue up behind the AC unit very safely. He will, but that wastes over 30 seconds worth of Uno's time there and Virtue's, and they're very aware that someone might peek, but Virtue is going to almost the end of his life. And I think for Kendra, he's actually probably pretty disappointed that he wasn't able to get that full kill, because that would have made a huge impact now that we're reaching halfway through the round. And G2's very stalled out. This top down needs to speed up, Hap.
It definitely does. It saves right here. And basically not spot it once Kanto Raketti is going to be getting himself downstairs, but he misses a shot right there. Definitely going to be called out, I assume, on the likes of G2, as Uno right now is making some ground. They're starting to work their way down, but in the meantime, Sage is still up there, so he could be going for a late flank. Now the G2 is going to be ready to actually try and deny that one, so they definitely need to keep their mind. I was going to say Nello just laying dead on the ground there, just chilling, but it's like G2 need to keep their flanks. And they need to make sure that that flank is not going to be happening, as it's Kenry that wins the gunfight right there from Uno with 1 minute left on the clock.
Not a lot of time for G2 to make their way down. They wanted to start opening up some vertical holes, but unfortunately Uno was caught out by Kendrick. Beautiful shot by the Jaeger, and now they've decided the rush that they should have started with is the way they're going to end it. Capcan trapped on doors as well, so the Blitz needs to be ever so careful. The Ash is above now, so those vertical holes are raining down, but they haven't got the wall denial off the wall yet. They need to. Virtue will open the wall, but less than 30 seconds left. They need to be very fast, and Pengu's going to be the one with the diffuser in his hands, and Saze will take out Citizen.
Yeah, definitely will. And that means they will be moving in right now. The Candelas are being tossed in right there. They will be completely blinding of Doki, who's going to get wallbanged by Kento. Moving through right now. The plant needs to go down, but Pengu's going to be taking a lot of damage right there. It's going to eventually go down. Virtue needs to step in now. Needs to make sure that the diffuser will be planted. But the question is, will it be? It's Kendra to pick up Virtue. It's Kento right now in a one-on-one situation against Sage. Needs to go for this plant. There's 7 seconds on the clock right now. Is he going to be able to survive as long as there's no rotation there? Sage is not going to be able to be in time. Possibly. Yes, he's no, he's not actually. Kento manages to survive. Smokes are going in right there to just block the lines aside and force Sage to move through these smokes. He managed to de-escalate the current situation, and as Kento is getting himself into a better position, he's actually going to get downed, but Sage is going to be unaware of this until he moves around. Still though, the first round is going to be coming in. Good shot coming in there from the Polishman, and with that, Na'Vi will win their first round.
Bomb diffuser disabled by defenders.
That dash down red hallway from the Oryx there, that's also another little sweet aspect of his ability, is that he can dash just and make himself ever so quicker as he's running. So he would have actually caught him off guard had he have moved down red a little bit quicker, but he's lucky that he was able to win that gunfight. Those smokes were actually really well placed from Kanto. Blocked 2 lines of sight, couldn't block the third, so Saves was able to connect the shot there. And well, this is what everyone was wondering. Will Pengu bring the Monty now that it is not banned against him? He started off round 1 with a blitz, which didn't really work out too well. And well, as I say that, he'll 6-pick straight off of it back onto the blitz. And he hasn't shown much effectiveness with it thus far, but there's only been 1 round. So we'll see whether or not he can do something with it now that we move to reading.
Indeed, reading we go. As G2 will be trying to get a read on to the strategy that Navi's going to be trying to pull up right here. As we can quickly relive that moment right there. How Kento managed to bring it into a one-on-one. If he was just a tiny bit earlier, would have maybe saved his teammate and put himself into a better position. However, it was in the end Saints that managed to get that clutch it.
10 seconds left.
What I'm liking here from Na'Vi is they've got a lot of potential to slow down G2. G2 struggled last round with their attack and their time consumption throughout the round. So now we've got Panics on the Clash, which is also an ability to slow shield on shield if Panics wanted to. And Saves below with a C4, that's really good. He's the only C4 available, so whether or not he'll have the likes of Doki with him to protect him might be very important. But what I want to see here from Pengu is him leading the charge on the roam clear. If they want to get rid of the pulse below, they need to charge onto him to start off with. They don't want to leave it late round, so hopefully that's what we see them do. But this is a big map, Hap. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of utility to get rid of. And, given the setup of Pengu, maybe they're going to do a Smoke and Skylight drop.
Be an interesting one if they want to go for it, but it could actually be quite valuable and effective if they do. Saves could be trying to get some information. We will not be getting any. As right now, the members of G2 are already starting to enter. They are going to be taking cigar control quite quickly, but Save's going to be aware of that 1 player onto the red stairs right now, so they know 1 has dropped through. Most likely see effective roams come out of it. As a result, as the pre-fires attempts on Saves are going to be not hitting anything as of yet. There's going to be the Clash to go up against the Blitz right here. He's going to be superior in this battle. Spanger's just playing peekaboo.
Like I spoke about before, shield on shield, it's a little bit of an oddity, but Panics is going to be able to give the call out that Pengu is harassing him on White Hallway. He won't move up, however. That's a smart choice given, well, no one's harassing him from the white window, which you would usually see someone attack from to get that pinch happening, but no one's done that. Doki puts himself in a very precarious position. Citizen will take him out, and Panics awfully aware of that white window, as I spoke about before, and Uno will rappel down to give him a little bit of a taste of his own medicine, and Pengu's actually in, but it is a reading hold, so they still need to get that vertical control. With minute left half, they need to speed this up ever so slightly.
They definitely need to start speeding things up. They're trying to still deal with the Clash on Panics. However, are quite failing to do so. Need to go for the pincer if they want to actually get it right now. It's going to get spotted out on the actual side. The angle from above will be held. There's going to be saves to get the kill into Uno. With that, remove that sledge that was on the white window. And Navi bring it back to a 4-on-4. Right now, 40 seconds are going to be left. Pengu quickly checking his drone. They need to find out what is safe and what's not, as they still need to deal with the smoke of Nello. It's going to be able to stall a full 30 seconds right here. I believe the first one just went off. Maybe some smoke and to follow that one up as the Blitz is now going to be pushing in with some of the Candelas from Kenta Ricchetti. It's Citizen to pick up saves though. That's going to be denying the flank and allow Kenta to move through to actually go for the A-bomb side. Pengu's also just blasting through, but he will be dropping the diffuser in the middle of the site as Nello was not spotted out. Citizen goes down. It's only up to Virtue now. It's the Aussie that needs to be able to do it here. Gets one to start things off, but with 4 seconds will fall shortly. It's Navi that will win their second round right here onto Cafe Dostoyevsky. And it's up to G2 now to actually get their 1 round in to make sure at least they get things started.
Wow. I'm going to put that down to 2 things there for G2 because their strategy isn't off. It's just how long it's taking them to employ that strategy. If you want to get reading room open, especially into pillars, you need to be getting that open with at least about 40 seconds left on the clock. That's assuming that you have all of top floor control as well. G2 didn't have the map control they needed. They had the right operators to do it, but Pengu seems like he's almost living too long for a blitz. I mean, I know that's strange to say, but a blitz should be the kind of guy that takes those gunfights head on and should be abusing those defenders as they sit in key parts of the map, and that's not what we're seeing. So a very odd G2 at the moment, and I think for Na'Vi, the fact that they brought that clash, especially on reading, that was really smart. That delayed G2 even more.
Definitely did, as we're seeing double right now. Double trouble. Oh, there we go. We're back in. I was gonna say, like, do I need new prescription glasses? Because
maybe
it's kind of the feeling it gave me. But Nafi currently 2-0 up. We're again going. Oh, actually now going for the top 4 hold. The bar to come out. Often for many teams, the first one to actually go to. For Navi, the third. And they should go for a complete reverse rotation. And I might actually come quite positive in for them, depending on how G2 is going to be able to adapt to this, how to play into this. As they look so strong against Rogue. So far, not really been able to find an impact yet onto the likes of Na'Vi, who are on fire, and especially Kendrew.
Kendrew has had a very good game thus far, but I want to point out, Saves was setting up for a spawn peek / jump out in Small Bakery. He's got the Vector in hand, I want to mind you, so the drop off on that weapon at long range is not something you want to be jumping out with.
The thing
but
is,
unfortunately, he misses any of his opportunity to jump out anyway.
The thing is, if you manage to get someone below 100 HP well repelled, he doesn't go in a DBNO state. It's an instant kill, right? So, like, if you go for that repel, first of all, they're less mobile. They might not always be able to actually get the angle on you, and if you manage to do enough damage to actually get them down, they're just going to be dead instantly. So, it's yeah, okay. The Vector is not that good on the long range. It's an insane drop-off, but, I mean, I kind of get the idea that he has right there.
Well, he's already wasted 1 C4, and that's the only C4 in the hands of Na'Vi, so no vertical plant denial available for the team yet anymore. Nello will be the only plant denial left, and he's been really good. He's been a very good support player for Na'Vi over many, many months, and that dock will come in handy as well as Panix oversteps himself near the Goyo shield, losing just over half of his life, and good holes into Freezer as well. I want to commend those. You know, they've got an ACOG on Kendrew. They can use those to their advantage, even though the attackers are likely to have more ACOGs than them.
Definitely the attack, of course. Well, basically every operator having access to the ACOG, except for the shields, as pistols. I mean, especially the P12 and P9. They do, unfortunately, not have the advanced combat optical gun sight available to them. But that might be a bit too much if we had a multi being able to ADS with like a 2.4 times scope. But right now it's going to be G2 with 50 seconds left. They need to get their execute going yet again. But it looks like Pengu is looking to get a little bit of a sneak plant in. He's sitting here with the diffuser, giving away some information to the rest of his team, who will need to follow up. Smoke canister being tossed in right now. He's going to get stuck a little bit, needs to move back out. Just a little bit of damage done, but this looks like G2 is actually going to be ready for this round. They managed to get the first 2 openings. Doki and Kendra will be taken down. And so far, there's no response yet from Na'Vi. As more explosions happen, as Pengu to go for the ADS right here. He's basically solo holding out on the player in the freezer, waiting for Kenta to come in from the back. And here we go again. He's again going for the shepherding technique right here. And it's G2 that managed to win it. It's Kenta with a huge round right there. I believe 3 or 4 kills actually from him. And that's the first one on the board for G2. They will need to find at least one more to be competitive for the rest of this match. But if they can find 2 or 3 more, they're definitely going to be in a perfect spot.
Talking about perfect spots, it's almost like Pengu running the blitz on the first 2 rounds was like he was giving Na'Vi a head start. He just, you know, like, we'll start with blitz and then I'll eventually bring the Monty. And then I'll start doing what we need to do to shepherd these players into the lines of sights of Kanto. And Kanto had a brilliant game last Playday. Not a surprise to see him 7-2, absolutely rocking it. This is the Kanto, the fragger we knew, especially in 2019. He's reliving that for us here today. It's a beautiful showing. And of course, we've got to commend Pengu. The way, like you said, they shepherded the players around into the lines of sights of G2 with the Monty. Monty is more Pengu style. I don't think Blitz is really something that he's quite as confident with as he is with the Monty, and that's why you see a lot of teams ban Monty against G2 because he's so effective with it, both in intel gathering and his ability to shepherd.
No, that's the thing, right? Monty's more of a shepherd, whilst the Blitz is more a aggressive, in-your-face kind of guy. And Baird, you know, Dev's dope, he would be proud on the work that Pengu picks up right there. Is Nazi shepherd. Don't think he does have any shepherding himself, though. But, I mean, it's in his genes.
Rightfully so. Good to see Saves rocking the Oryx again. I really like Oryx. I'd like to see his ability to flank using a hatch. I mean, Cafe is the perfect map to do it, so I want to see whether or not he has the opportunity to do it. And Doki, he hasn't been able to catch a frag yet, but he's hoping with a quick little spawn pick he might be able to catch one. No one's there to collect those bullets, but so far, Na'Vi having a good matchup, but really, if you have a look at it, it's kind of on the back of Andrew and Saves. Nello had some good smoke use as well, but this time he'll be on the Bandit, so
I'm concerned a
I
bit,
think for G2, what are you concerned about, Hap? What's going on?
Saves managed to actually sit in that exact same spot the entire round, like in the first one. I wonder if he's actually going to get droned out now. Because doesn't seem like it. Oh, there he is. I was gonna say, like, again, like, that shouldn't be the case. Now they know, at least. I was like, if this is how they miss it, that would have been absolutely amazingly played by Taves, but he's gonna be able to rotate out. So you can continue, Jess, with the point you were trying to make before that happened.
Well, I think for Saves, you know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And that's exactly what happened there. I don't think that we're gonna be fooled again by his little hiding spot behind bar, but this is the kind of control we expect from G2. In the first round, they weren't able to be quite as confident with that map control, and now they're moving in a lot faster. But they're being challenged by Doki, and he'll take out Citizen, and Citizen ever so integral, I guess, to the verticality that G2 was able to offer, now that they are down in position. And oh no, unfortunate, the window presence of Mighty wasn't quite there. Laying on the ground, you know, we'll whip out the SMG-11 and take out Doki, and that's a really good pick on Na'Vi, but Uno will have the soft breach that's necessary, so that was very integral. He stayed alive, and it almost looks like they want to do a B push and planned here, given the placement of the Monty with the diffuser.
And definitely, they're trying to get rid of Panics right here behind this shield. That's basically the next point they need to go at, but it's going to be 2 to 3 of these evil, well, not evil, the magnets ready to catch these projectiles that might be flying his way to try and contest his position. So G2 will have to rethink their current strategy. There's 40 seconds left on the clock. They need to start to get a move on. And Pengu is going to be crucial in this kind of role. They see it can be soft breach. They see they can actually go through. The smoke canister will be there to block off any lines of sight, allowing Pengu to move through and actually try and contest Panics behind this shield right here. And now he will do so successfully. He's going to be pushing through right here, but followed up actually. Uno goes down. It's going to be Pengu that needs to get the kill. Will do so successfully. Uno can be picked up right now, but is it going to be safe enough to do it? As Saves is rotating back towards the freezer. There's only going to be 10 seconds left. There's no time to actually go for a pickup, but they kind of need him to open up that freezer. Will he do so in time? That's the question. It's just all this kind of up in the air right now. They are going to be able to move through, but it's going to be the flank to come in from Nello. Able to pick up 2 kills right there. Kender with the other 2 from the actual bar area. Right here under Harry Potter. Making sure that Na'Vi will win this round. Even though it was already won when Uno went down.
Yeah, that's a really good point. The moment that Uno went down, things started to go a little bit shaky. I mean, we spoke about Citizen going down first. Okay, that was a little bit shaky. You could still do it, 4-man pushing onto site. but then of course multiple of the G2 players followed. The big thing about that there is that if you want to plant into B, you want to do a freezer take, you need VIP control. And if you're going to do a top-down take, you better be really fast with it, because by the time you get down to VIP and you need to get that control, there's shields, ADSs, magnets. Panix was in there solo, rocking it all on his own. So if you want to get that control, you should start the round that way, get that VIP control, and then if anyone's roaming, deal with them then. But they're just taking too long. This is G2 on attack on Cafe, which I've not seen in a long time. I mean, they've had shaky results, but I've never really seen G2 take this long in their executes.
Well, at least for them, we're going back upstairs into the bar. And they managed to win this one the last time around due to good shepherding from that Monty. Yet again, it's going to be picked in, so let's see if G2 is actually going to be able to repeat that same result. Or if Na'Vi is going to be able to adapt to it, find out what went wrong and bring the operators needed to deal with this current setup. But like, if the Monty is such an issue, right, which it kind of is for the likes of Na'Vi, yes, they still won that round the last time around. Why don't bring a Legion?
Right. I mean, it's a direct counter to Monty. You're absolutely right, Happen. There is really a lot of other counters to Monty as well, and they've been trying to use Nello on the smoke. Of course, this round you won't see the smoke featured, but they've been trying to use that as sort of a deterrent as well. But it's not the best when you want to have plant denial and Monty denial. So if you're going to leave Monty in, you're right. You need to be prepared to deal with him. And thus far, it's almost as if G2 is just, not forcing Na'Vi to deal with the Monty because he's taking so long to get to site, and therefore not really being a problem, except for that one round where they shepherded really well on top floor. And we're going to see a repeat of that here. Pengu will rock the Monty again, and look at this. There's a castle on the door. They want it gone, and this is, with just over 2 minutes, this is the kind of presence you want. You want it quick. That C4 is going to bounce, but it's a shield, so that'll bounce straight off, and this is good control. Castles up to stall them even more. I like that strategy. But if I'm G2, I want to be a lot quicker than I'm being so far.
Yeah, definitely. In the meantime, though, we saw Nello drop down through the hatch. However, none of the G2 players are ready to actually pick him up, so he's left alive. Going to be able to rotate all the way up to reading right there and come in clutch later on, possibly. This Pengu will be taking care of this barbed wire right here. Saves hiding under the skylight. Of course, it cannot be spotted from that same skylight. They actually need to get a drone in on him if they want to be able to deal with that. It's going to be Pengu with the actual long-range ADS kill onto Kendry. That's the Meister gone. That's a huge pick. That's your denial gone, basically. You still have 2 Goyos available to you potentially, but the question is, are they located in the right positions? As the grenade soon will be coming in right there on Doki, I believe. And there we go. Beautiful grenade.
Oh, that was beautifully cooked, and of course all of the smokes will deter anyone from being able to get the freezer angle. So you can see Panix, he's actually panicking, excuse the pun, because they're going to be moving on in. That's a beautiful move in. Unfortunately, Saves, he actually didn't even see them moving in because he was hiding, and he'll fall down to pillars. It's a 4v2, a much better round for G2, and if they want to clutch this out, Nello and Saves need to pull something spectacular. They don't have the best guns in the game to do it, and not a lot of health on the side of Nello, and he'll duck into the side of Piano Wall just to escape those flames.
Just not getting barbecued right there, and Saves in the meantime just playing hide and seek on this map, really, as he's finally going to be taken down right now by Virtue. Only Nello left alive. They're probably not going to be expecting him to come from here, as well, here we go. He's going to be able to get some shots in, but then rotates back down. Doesn't have a C4 available to him anymore, so needs to rotate back up these white stairs, go for 3 separate gunfights. But if you're in a one-on-one after plant with a Monty still being on the board, you're basically a lost cause already, and there's nothing he can do. This round will go to G2 unless Pengu somehow manages to mess this up. The other 2 can die, but that's about it. Oh, they're actually... He's way more aggressive than he should be in a situation like this right here. It's going to be the kill from Pengu to come in. Nonetheless, showing why he is, well, maybe the best Monty that the European League has available to him. Just so good at this operator.
He is really good, and what I want to applaud G2 for, even though Na'Vi are in the lead, I mean, people are probably wondering, well, how is Na'Vi in the lead? G2 have shown, especially last week against, VP, how strong they are. So why are they looking this way now? And it all comes down to their timing. That round was a great example. They got in quicker. They dealt with things a lot quicker than they had on previous rounds, and they very much deserved that round. Na'Vi couldn't keep up with everything, and that's why you're going to see Kendry this time rocking the Clash rather than Panix, because, well, if you're going to go reading room, they want to rock the Kaid, and I want to see where that Electric Claw will be placed, why it is so vital for Na'Vi to bring that Kaid. Are they going to do a full top floor hold? If that's the case, I can understand why they might need that Kaid. So we'll see where Panics does end up going, or whether or not they're just going to close off all the hatches now that they're not rocking an Oryx. I'm not entirely sure.
The thing is, right, there's going to be not a single hard breacher available on the likes of G2. If you're looking at the current lineup, there's some soft destruction available, with some, I mean, kind of a lot with the current Sophia. We're breaching charges as well, Ash, and a Sledge. So we're definitely going to be seeing a lot of top control to come down. Most likely this entire bar area is going to be smacked open. And this Na'Vi is going to be putting up a lot of pressure up here. They're going to be getting these reinforcements out. They need to keep Freezer control. And while you're asking, where can this Electric Claw be placed? Well, actually, so often what people do is actually go downstairs into a reading room, and you can, as you see the ping already coming down for that wall, it's just going to get tossed in reading to make sure they're not going to be able to open up into that freezer. And with that, they're going to be able to, well, basically keep that top floor secured. However, since there is no hard breachers anyway, it doesn't really matter that much.
Well, one of those Electric Claws will go onto the reading room wall. That's not a surprise. We saw G2 open that wall as their method of entry and execute last time on reading. So we'll also see it over on the wall of Piano into Freezer. But like you said, there's no hard breach. What they've also done, which I really want to commend Na'Vi for, is they've barricaded a lot of doors. That will stall out the Monty a lot. This means people need to shoot them open, melee them open or something. People are going to think, well, it's not a huge time waster. Well, G2 has struggled with time in several rounds, so anything that can work, even for a few seconds, counts.
Well, we see two the Goyo shields right here now being deployed in this hallway. This will give Kento the opportunity to potentially try and clear this one out without Pengu being at a real issue. Has to be careful now, though. If you're going to be forced out by Kendra, who could just simply swap over to his pistol, shoot that shield. He needs to get out of position as we get the clash of the shields coming down between Clash and Monty. It's Kendra right here coming close. He needs to be careful. Could just as well be an impact, just being tossed on that shield, and he could lose about half his HP just in a second in time. So, oh, look at that, Kento just completely bypassing the entire barricades and stuff like that. Using that sledgehammer smartly.
Yeah, with that sledge, it's a really good utilization of his hammer, making sure he can open up his own doors. The grenade will come out. He believes that someone is featuring on the stairs, and they are. It's Doki, but he's a Jaeger, so he has an ADS by his side. Flashes will also come out, but there's a minute left on the clock, and not a lot of map control taken by G2 yet. Still a full top floor control by Na'Vi. They can rotate down at any moment. We'll see Pengu moving on up. Citizen will jump over onto Heaven, take out Panics, and that's a really good pick. They need to rotate back to site now, and that's exactly what they'll do. The Clash will also be on site, and if G2 can't get rid of the Clash, they might find it hard to execute, but looks like those flames will come out from Uno, but to no real effect thus far.
Now, there's definitely not going to be an effect as Doki comes in from the side. However, it's just a quick pinch, a quick harass, and just instantly goes back again. Citizen will then be picked up by Sage. Just going to be able to go for a double kill. No, misses the knife, both of them. And Pengu, in the meantime, is going down for the plant, and no one's there to actually stop it. It's going to be Doki to be taken down. You know, with the perfect cover, Virtue as well. And G2, even though I was going to be saying there is not enough time to get your execute going, especially now with the Clash available to you, it's going to be Pengu that goes for the plan, Virtue with the right cover. And as G2 has still managed to win that round, and we're ending up in a 3-3 split right here for the first half, which is actually very beneficial for the likes of G2. As Citizen say, you guys were literally touching backs right there, like the knives not hitting on both sides.
Yeah, it was a very close engagement between them. But what I want to shout out there too was Kendra on the Clash. I don't know if this was maybe something he wasn't aware of, but as a Clash, he could have moved right up to the reading door during the plant going down, blocked the doorway, and allowed his teammate to run behind him and kill the diffuser planter. There was no other walls open. There was really no other lines of sight that could have stopped him from doing that. And rather than putting the shield on his back and trying to engage with his primary, he could have made such better decisions there to really secure that round for Na'Vi. So well won by G2, but it did end up coming down to a few good lines of sight during that execute. So well done. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the roles will switch around and we'll have G2 move on to defense and Na'Vi move on to attack, and we'll see whether or not, given that these teams will leave that split on 3-3 apiece, if G2's defense will far outweigh their attack.
10 seconds to insertion.
These could be the ones to get that defense going. Let's see how they will be able to trade off. Whether or not they'll start off just as a blasting fashion as Na'Vi did, or if Na'Vi is going to be able to be a bit more confident on that attack, as they're attempting some spawn peaks, it looks like.
I don't know if I'd call that a spawn peak as much as I would sort of a deterrence of entry, but Nello, he says no spawn peak for you and shuts him down, and that's with a holographic, mind you, so a beautiful bit of reverse spawn peak onto the Vigil.
Rip Kento,
Yep,
2020.
F in chat.
F in chat.
Yep.
Tried to go for a beautiful shot, but instead got styled upon by Nello and the Nomad.
Have located a bomb.
And that will leave G2 in a 4-5 situation from a very early point onwards. So like 30 seconds past that kill comes in, that means Na'Vi now are going to be having so much more pressure as Doki's already actually in that red hallway. Got to put some pressure onto the side. Yes, a trade came in. Nello has been taken down. This is the Nomad gone. No more air jibs that will be deployed if he haven't already. But like, you have to keep in mind that Doki is quite close. And saves now as well to actually challenge directly onto these players on side.
I don't think Doki meant to throw that grenade there. That's okay. They've got another pair on the Mavericks, so Panics will shoot that over into Freezer. That should get rid of the mute jammer there, but they don't have vertical control, and well, of course, the shotgun user will, and that's going to be Uno. They're actually going to try and sail a grenade up there. This could be dangerous, not cooked correctly, so it does bounce onto the ground instead. And you're right, they didn't get rid of the mute jammer with the first grenade, so they had to send a second. And now Freezer wall's open, and this is better time management here from Na'Vi. They just don't have the vertical control that G2 decided to get. So this is where we'll see a shift in the push and whether or not this works out for Na'Vi the same way it did for G2.
I don't think they're aware of Yuno's current position. He actually did rotate back a bit, just being wary about the fact he might be flanked. But he already made his presence known, and that will be forcing Na'Vi to actually deal with that top floor. And as you see, Doki is going to be rotating up. He's going to be sent to deal with it, but it's going to be Citizen to be able to pick him up. Then Panics will be getting the frag onto Yuno, but as there is still going to be a player left right there who's going to be able to get onto that flank. It's going to be Pengo with one, but it's instantly being traded out right there by Panics, who's going to be taking a lot of damage from that vertical play to come through. It's going to be up to Virtual and Citizen right now to try and stall this out to make sure the plan doesn't go down. And as I say that, it's going to be Panics to stick it. He's going to be going for it, but the drop comes in from Citizen. Is he going to be in time? Yes, he is. And he goes for the double kill. Citizen will be winning that round for G2. And it was a good attempt for Na'Vi, but as they didn't have the top floor control, it really came back to them as this drop from Citizen was the one that lost them the round.
An almost stark reminder of what G2 was trying to show on their first half, that you need that top floor control when you're playing Cafe, and when you don't have it, that's what happens. So Na'Vi taking a lesson there, a page out of G2's book. Unfortunately for G2, they didn't have the best showing of it with the time management. However, Na'Vi, well, they've learnt now that if we are going to go through Freezer, we need to have that vertical control. It's the same with not having mining and train control as well. Anyone could open up above, shotgun holes, hatches, etc. if they're not reinforced. So being really careful of that on the side of Na'Vi, but they're deciding that they're going to bring a shield of their own, and Kendra will bring the Monty. And I don't know whether or not he'll have the same effectiveness that Pengu has. Of course, I guess two of the best shield players, or Monty players rather, that we know in all of EUL is Hungry and Pengu. They've always featured Monty as part of their kit and a very integral part of their playing style. So we'll see whether or not Kendra can rock the same style, whether he shepherds or he plays aggressive, or if he just plays pure intel. But it's going to be reading rooms, so the top floor Na'Vi must get.
They definitely must now, but due to the fact that Monty is being played so often, it really shows that we're going back into a more diverse kind of style of this game, where more actual operators are viable, because otherwise you would just normally see either a Termite or a Hibana, a Thatcher, an Ashe, a Zofia, and then like a Nomad or something to deal with flanks. And right now we're actually getting to see that Monty, for example, to come in, or a Blitz, for example. Like, everything to just try and force them out of the position. So I really like to see how today the game has been developing, and especially happy about the multi being in play. And I know a lot of people do not like the shield operators and stuff like that, but I definitely think it's the strategical aspect to it.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
Absolutely. Uno with
Boy.
the Roni below red hash. He could C4
Yeah,
this
fine.
very well, and he does, but Kendrew notices it, blocks it with his shield, and that's going to keep the Monty alive for just a little bit longer. And Uno will be the one that is without a C4 below, so Na'Vi could just ignore him, just could place flank drones and walk away since he's not going to be too much of a nuisance from below. He doesn't have the super shorty anymore, so his verticality is simply lost, and Pengu will be completely... Oh, what a beautiful shot by Panics onto the C4 of Pengu. That's another C4 lost, and in fact, that's all of the C4s on G2 gone.
Well, then all you can do right now, I guess, G2 is just try and stall as much time as you possibly can and make sure that... Oh, that's going to be an actual smart one. However, perfectly played right there by Kendrew. He knows that drops his shield, of course, so he had to actually go back into that bathroom to make sure he would be able to be followed up with by the players at G2. And look at that, 3 players just up on that one little hallway trying to deal with the Monty right there. If this is being read, Na'Vi can just try and go in from the other side to try and deal with this, as right now G2 is definitely going to be pressured quite a ton. They need to be, well, dropping down at this point. There's almost no holding on to this anymore, as the complete of Na'Vi are starting to surround them, are starting to put pressure on them, but they're determined to keep control of this one. In the meantime, Kendra, however, has dropped their in the A bomb site. He could go for a potential plant right here. Wallwings and Na'Vi are not going to be hitting quite well. It's going to be Uno to eventually go down. It's the Frag, however, to come in with the diffuser. Drop now in the hands of Kendra, who will be taken down. It's a 3-on-3, and we're counting down slowly. With 45 seconds left on the clock, there's plenty of time for the attackers to try and salvage this situation right here. As Doki starts things off together with Nello, leaves it all up to Virtue. Yossi, as Def would say, he's definitely cheering for him now. Is he going to be able to do this? He's going to be able to get the first one to start things off with. It still saves Nello left though, who might be able to get this round in. Their air jab basically meaningless except for the information it might give out. As Sage is deciding to rotate into the B bomb site. That might actually be, well, devastating in the end. If he manages to find the right angle. There should be some verticals right here available to him for use. The planter already did go down, and it's going to be the vertical from Nello to come in the end. Na'Vi will win this round, even though G2, their valiant efforts to just hold on to that top for as long as possible.
You're right, G2 did not want to give up top floor, and that was really good from them. They had really good white stairs presence, and, well, Na'Vi tried to counter that by going, well, we can't get top floor, we can't simply take the control that we need for a reading plant, so we're going to go fireplace instead, and that's exactly what they did. Unfortunately, the shield decided to be a little bit more aggressive than he needed to be. He just needed to hold anyone from being able to get lines of sight from both reading and white stairs. Instead, he decided to unshield, move around, move over the hatch where you can't actually plant. You know, the hatch can get opened once the plant is done. So I think that was a little bit of miscommunication there from Na'Vi about counter-adapting to the situation they were in. But of course, it's a new round and it's 4-4 apiece, and both teams seeming very even here on Cafe. But given Na'Vi does usually pretty well on Cafe, they're known for it, and G2 has pretty washy results, this probably systematically looks a little bit worse for Na'Vi than it does for G2.
Yeah, and G2 is still on that defense, of course, without going back upstairs ever since Na'Vi left it. Let's see if G2 is going to be able to actually get this one home, because Na'Vi is quite struggling with that one. There's right here, Pengu throwing in that C4. Quick responses of Panics, sniping in midair right before he goes through the door. It probably wouldn't have even have hit at him to start things off with, but it still feels good if you hit such a shot.
Top floor now for G2.
Locate a bomb and defuse it.
The operators on their side, teaming towards them, just doing a little bit of a sight hold rather than a roam. No operators with C4, so I can't imagine anyone will play below. Maybe Kanto will go around, collect some drones, cause some havoc if anyone does go below, but otherwise I expect them to be predominantly on site for this one. And, well, Na'Vi need to make sure that when they move into Piano, they get those walls open, because they're rocking and hard breach, which G2 hasn't been. So this will be the difference here on attack for Na'Vi, is that they need to get these walls opened, and they need to do so very fast. And the only wall denial is a mute, but Thatcher's banned, so they'll need to go below to get it.
The thing is, right, as soon as you place those Xkyros on, you're not going to be able to get them off anymore. And if you find out you cannot really detonate them at that point, it might just well be shut off by any of the defenders who might just be peeking in at that point. So that is something to keep in mind. They need to make sure it's actually clear right before they deploy their, their Xkyros, because otherwise it's just going to be lost utility. As one of the breaching rounds is going to be called out by the ADS. Not sure why that wasn't being cleared out by flashbangs before, but so be it. Drones are being taken out by the Maestro camera right there. Only one breaching round remains. Will be used on the castle. The double barricade right there. And as right now, we do see Yuno drop. And you're preparing his own drop spot right there. And they're trying to at least put some pressure back onto the likes of Na'Vi by letting them know, hey, we're still downstairs and we might have C4s. You don't know that. You better come and hunt us.
Well, I said before there was no C4s, and I take that back because obviously Pengu on the mute, I should say, has one, but he's playing on site. He hasn't dropped below. He has the opportunity later on if he wants to drop below, he can. But of course, Na'Vi are still struggling here in Piano. As you would expect, they need to get rid of this Evil Eye. Grenades will come out. I don't believe there are any ADSs to catch it. No, there's not. I thought it bounced off in an odd fashion there, but of course it'll catch it anyway. And the mute jammer on the freezer wall is the big problem here, Hap. They need to get rid of it, but there's only 45 seconds left. This is a real tough one for Na'Vi. They could just sledge in, of which Doki has the sledgehammer, into behind the bar of Piano Wall and try and plant there. You can see it opened up there from Saves holding this line. It's like they could open that up and try and plant behind bar, but Uno's below. Doki has no idea. Ring of Rosie, he's trying to get the vertical challenge instead, and well, Panic's going to be able to trade it very quickly, but Pengu is down. This could be huge.
Yeah, they could definitely be huge right there, but in the meantime, Kenry's being tagged up quite some bit as well. They basically used all utility trying to open up the castle barricades. There's nothing left to get rid of the mute jammers, and that will leave them right now in a 2-on-2 situation. It saves Anello up against Kento and Citizen, which Kento starting it out, and Citizen to finish it off. It's G2 that will retake their lead right here, bringing up to 5-4. We're not done trading rounds yet, as we're going back and forth, and I don't think any of these teams have any thought of quitting that just yet, because Na'Vi is going to be eager to get their 5th round in as well. Whilst G2, they're looking to end it here. They're looking to get another round in to put themselves up to match and map point.
If G2 wins the next round, they're in a really good position to finish this match off. But look at those operator picks there. We've got an Alibi, a Goyo, a Mozzie, and an Ella. If I've ever seen a sort of frag heavy kind of defensive lineup, that is one, you know, with the Ella paired with the Mozzie, that will get 6 picked out, however, onto a castle. And I don't know whether or not this is because they want to hold, we saw previous rounds, they wanted to hold top floor for reading very heavily. Maybe these castles are part of that strategy of them going, well, maybe we can stall them out even more by having castles above and then hold top floor for almost the entirety of the round. I'd be interested to see if that works, given that you'll see on the attacking lineup, they're going to bring the Sledge of Doki, they've got Kendra on the Monty as well, so maybe it won't be as effective as they're hoping. One will go into train, of course, to stop them pushing through mining very quickly and getting a very swift fireplace plant. That's pretty meta for the given site. You don't want them to just run into fireplace and you lose control, so we'll see whether or not it features upstairs as well.
The thing is, right, they knew there was going to be a sledge available to the likes of Na'Vi. They know it has been picked in the last 3 rounds. So what I think Yuno is going to be doing is they're going to be spreading out these castle barricades on each position where they would have to use. But with that, Doki would have to traverse the entire map if he wants to get them all. And with that, they will still be forcing out some utility from, for example, Saves or Panics with a grenade to try and clear these out. As, of course, Doki cannot just run around the entire... Well, he can, but he probably doesn't want to, or they don't have enough time to send him across the entire map to clear out these castle barricades.
Drones will come zooming through from Red Hatch and all the way down Red Stairs. Good droning from Na'Vi here. They want to be quick in finding out the intel that they'll need to be able to push through Piano and across onto top floor. One air jab will go out, and I believe that's onto Red Stairs to stop anyone from flanking up that might so want to stop them from getting this top floor control. G2, however, will have most of their players playing over on Cocktail, and that's where you need to be situated if you want to defend reading from above. Multiple shields from the Goyo as well. If they explode, however, near Pengu, they'll do a serious amount of damage, so they need to be careful. And the castle's all the way downstairs, so a lot of map control from G2 that Na'Vi haven't been able to reclaim.
Well, I don't think the drone has actually spotted out right there, as he was being kind of careful about it. As long as he stays alive right here, could be going for a potential run out. Kendra definitely must have heard that barricade opening up. As there we go, one of the impacts is being used to open up right here. Kendra might be going for a quick attempt on the plant right here, but I believe they have someone up above with a vertical play to make sure that that's not going to be happening. Indeed, Pango just standing by, making sure that as soon as they want to go for a plant, he's going to be able to cancel that from going through. As he will be calling the Monties in right now. He's actually Kendra with that diffuser as well. Are they going to be able to cancel that off? That's going to be the question. And here we see, like, Pengu's being aided right here by one of the players as well. That is just going to be able to hold the hatch from the vertical holes to come through. It's going to be actually the double kill to come in. Pengu gets naded. It's Doki to get the kill on Citizen, and that will allow Kindred to actually go for a plant right here. It's going to be the repel in, but it's actually going to be the counter from Kanto. We'll be able to stop the diffuser from going down, buying Virtue a little bit of extra time. It's not going to be lasting much longer. It saves that will finish him off. I believe, no, it's actually Doki that does that. And with that, Na'Vi, yet again, are tying things up right here with G2. And it's still in anyone's game, and still both these teams can win, and I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up in a draw.
Well, there's only 2 more rounds for us to see whether it does end in a draw. Whoever wins the next round, ladies and gentlemen, will be the one to determine whether or not this will be a draw or a match win. Of course, there are ties here in EU, so it's important that if you get to 6 points, that you capitalize and win the next round. Otherwise, you're forced into only getting 1 point for that matchup instead of the 3. Of course, now G2 on the back foot here, given they just lost that last round, and a pretty convincing round win from Na'Vi there, how the way that they were able to overwhelm the site. All they had to do was open that castle. We spoke about that castle, you know, delaying the attackers, but one impact from Azofia opened that wide up for them. So Monty plays have been very crucial for both teams, and Kitchen, if G2 don't roam on this one, I think they'll be in a little bit of trouble. You can see there the round breakdown. Beautiful little bit of graphics there from production. You'll see that only one of the rounds were won by diffuser plant and the rest via elimination. So, of course, the diffuser does go down. It doesn't count it though, does it, Hap? It doesn't count whether or not you got the diffuser down and then you kill everyone, or whether you kill everyone before the diffuser goes
like
down.
But a little bit of discussion, right? What is it? Because if you get that diffuser down, it's basically you win it due to the objective, because, well, like, the defenders need to go for a retake.
Well, I mean, if you're an attack, Hap, you win. You are more likely to win the round. I think it's 80%. Well, no. If you get the diffuser down, you have an 80% more chance of winning the round than you would have if you did not get the plant down. It's huge. So I think it should count as part of the statistic as well.
But that's the entire thing. Some people don't think it does, but I personally, and you do as well, that I think it does, because it just turns around the complete the course of the round, because suddenly the defenders are on the side where they need to make a push and they need to go for a retake. Especially if you're playing up against a multi. Like, wow, Kendra, you're just up so aggressive right here, mate. He's going to be able to get a hip fire headshot onto Virtue right there as he extends. And it's going to be a good start right here from the likes of Na'Vi. He's again going to be going, well, in aggressive way right here for the multi. And extending, trying to get that kill into Pengu, but Pengu knows how to play against the multi right here. The wall is being opened up, though. That's going to be allowing him to move through. Nello now with a kill into Kanto. The pre-fire into Yuna will not hit in the end. However, he is going to be going for the flank right there. We'll be dropping that diffuser, and Doki with it. As right now, Nello has resorted to his pistol. Flashbang coming in, second one as well. Nello will be jumping right after him, though. It's not going to be expected, most likely, by these players, and it's only up to Pengu now dealing with his, well, basically main operator. But it's Na'Vi to win the round, and right now they're up on 6 rounds. After a very quick push from Na'Vi to come through, Kendra just being in the faces of G2 with that Monty, and no one of G2 able to assist Virtue, with that him losing his life early on. And G2 right now on the back foot.
Wow. All I can say is wow. I'm extraordinarily impressed with the way that Na'Vi have adapted to the fact that they need to be quicker, as well as G2 needs to respond better. And well, Saves exits the lobby a little bit out of fashion, and that's going to be a rehost there. And welcome back to our faces, ladies and tactical rehost. You know, like, we've got the 6 rounds. We're forcing you into either a draw or we win. fair enough. But I think what we've seen for both teams has been very impressive. But I think both teams have had almost opposite ends of the spectrum weaknesses, which they can both go back through those VODs and find out for themselves.
Yeah, like something to keep in mind right here is Navi plays really quick in their attacks, especially these last 2 rounds. They have been absolutely overwhelming the side of G2, G2 not being able to respond to it. But if we're looking back to the attacks of G2, which were actually quite good, they didn't bring a heart breacher, and that makes you wonder what would happen if they did have a heart breacher on the board right there. Would it be able to even make them more effective? Or was it the right choice to leave them out as, of course, the Thatcher was banned anyway, and, well, it's hard to deal with a mute and Kaid like that.
Yeah, I think when you've got a Thatcher ban and you don't bring a Carly and you don't really bring a Maverick, you're just ever so hoping that you can get rid of whatever the wall denial is. For the most part, it's been both Kaid and Mute. So if you want to get rid of those, pieces of gadgets, those utility, then you must get vertical control. With Kitchen, however, it's really difficult to get rid of stuff on the wall, especially electric claws. You need grenades if it's up on the top of the vents, for example. You're not able to shoot that from above. So a lot of defenders get away with that. But with Mute Jammers, it's pretty easy to throw your grenade over the top or from above and get rid of those. So I think both teams have been dealing with utility quite well, but I was surprised to see a couple of both of the teams now rely solely on the Monty for their pushes and really just do away with their hard breaches altogether.
It shows how effective the Monty can be in the right hands, right? And Kendra just getting into Phase of Virtue, allowing the rest of Na'Vi to just get a bit more aggressive themselves as well, because, well, as soon as Virtue completely disregards him, it's just going to be the extended knife or hip for a headshot, as you saw, to come in right there. And it allows the rest of the Na'Vi to instantly push up. Like, they instantly have bakery control, something that normally takes about 1 minute, 1 minute 30 for teams to establish. They now did in like 20 seconds. And that is something that is really, well, mention worthy right here in the likes of Na'Vi. Really well played. And, well, G2 have availability now to every single bomb site on the board. Like, which one do you think they'll take, and how will the Monty come into play right there?
I'm going to make the assumption, given that it looks like Kitchen is their most favored site on defense. They started there and then they moved to reading. Then they went, from bottom up rather than top down with their defensive sort of strategy. So I'm going to make the assumption they like Kitchen and that's where they would pick going back into it, especially when you're going into match point. You should pick your most confident site. But I almost want to shout out there to Kendra, who's giving Pengu a bit of a taste of his own medicine. You know what I mean? You want to rock the Monty? That's fine. I can do it the same way. And I think given how Kendra has used the Monty over the past couple of rounds, I'm very impressed with his controlled aggression with it. I think that hipfire headshot you spoke about before was a bit of a luck shot there. It was more like,
he was really
I know
close.
someone's up in my... He was. So he had the opportunity to hit him almost anywhere from chest upwards. But to catch his head there and then just completely reshield again, that was perfect. So I think G2 have been focusing too much on the Monty. I don't think Kendra has been too hyper aggressive as we see other shield players play with him. So I think they should have focused on other players who, the Monty was trying to distract them for.
Now, do you think that, because we all know Pengu's a god on Monty, right? And Kendra now shows he is capable of playing that operator as well. Do you think that G2 is intentionally running him due to the fact, first of all, he is available, but second of all, they wanted to become a target ban against them so they have a free ban to work with? Because that's a strategy many talk about. Just show you're really good with one operator, make sure it gets perma-banned against you so you have more flexibility when you go over to the attack themselves, because not a lot of teams have a special Monty player available to them, right? So if you can make it so like the Monty is going to be able to get banned, they're not handicapping like themselves with it, and you have your ban where you can completely handicap the opponent team with.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where you turn around and you go, well, we've seen G2 and Pengu specifically be so effective with the Monty. I can't imagine you just sort of, try and get other teams to ban it when they've shown effectiveness with it, especially if it's something you're really good with. So I think back to the Ying days, and I'm going to use my own experience here with Hungary. Teams used to ban Ying so much that we just ended up training him on other operators. And I said to, when they started keeping to ban the Ying, and Hungary used to laugh in the lobby. He used to go, they're still banning Ying, and I haven't played him for her for like 2 months now, people still think I'm a god on her. So I think it's one of those things where, okay, you got a player you want to counterban specifically, but I don't think it's one of those things that G2's even worried about. I think they're pretty versatile at this point. Maybe a few months ago when they had a couple of roster changes, even SI 2020 when they had stand-ins of Sabos and stuff like that, they weren't very comfortable with synergy and coordination. Now we're coming into, EUL, the first season here of this particular tier 1, and I think they're a lot more confident with their synergy and coordination. So I think players could really switch off to multiple operators if they so choose to.
Definitely true. G2 definitely showing that diversity that you can bring. As in the meantime, we are going to be taking a look at the replays right here, showing perfectly what we meant with the way that they like to shepherd. Just headbutting that one almost gives me a little bit of that. You know that 2D game where you you have two giant heads and you play football with it, right? That kind of gave me that vibe. Have you never played that? Yeah, you're like
I've played a lot of games. I've not played that.
It's like a browser game, right? It's not like an actual full force game. You have like two goals and you have like two little guys with giant heads on, and you just basically headbutt the ball to each other. You try to actually score. You've never played that?
Wow.
Oh, I'll show you after the cast. I'll show you after the cast. We'll play a game. Then
I love the way
sure.
you've explained it. Right? I'm hooked.
It cannot be closer than
whatever
this.
this game is. You know what? I was thinking of, the way that a player in soccer, or people call it football overseas, of course, they headbutt the ball. I was thinking maybe you were going down that route.
I mean, that's what I meant, but you have like a game that actually does that as well. And that's kind of what, I would instantly think, he's just headbutting that. Because you walk forward in that game just to make sure you get extra speed. It doesn't matter in the end. I'll show you after the cast so you actually know what I was talking about. But yeah, no, Pangu being quite well on that. Monty, of course, not going to have availability to it. Kendrew, however, managed to show that he is proper. I didn't actually know that of him, that he was good Monty. I might have missed that myself.
I didn't know either, and it was very impressive that he was so apt on it. I think it actually only took him a round or two to really work out the kind of flow and the speed at which he needed to use that Monty, and the aggressiveness and the controlled aggression he needed to display with it. So I was really happy to see that come the round that really was the round they needed to win in order to get themselves on match point, that he had worked out the way he wanted to use it. And of course, well, as I say it, we'll be back into the match, ladies and gentlemen. This is match point for Na'Vi, and a draw point for G2 if they can secure this next round. And a 6-pick from Sledge into the Amaru means that we might be seeing some funky things, and that's good because, well, G2 are starting upstairs.
Now, I saw some stats coming by, right? That in the US League, US Division, it has been picked only 3 times over the last matches, and not a single kill came in from it. So I call them amateurs. But how many of these kills have we seen? We've seen plenty of kills, right, with Amaru?
I think a good reference of that is Corey on Rogue.
Yeah.
He loves it. Yeah, he's been doing work with that operator. I wouldn't say it's come as a direct reference to her gadget that he's getting these kills, but I mean, you've got the LMG, you've got the angled grip. Damn, she is a good
super
operator.
mobile as that operator as well.
Yeah.
And I think that really comes into the strengths of a player like Corey. You can just get up places quicker than people would normally expect, and you can just suddenly be somewhere and just completely surprise them. So Corey using that to a good extent. Let's see whether or not Doki is going to be able to put up the same trick right here. Is he going to be able to outdo the entirety of NA right here with just 1 kill on an Amaru? That would be it.
Some good stats to have, and of course, all of the kills, deaths, assists, etc. will reset because we have had a rehost. So if you're wondering why no one has any kills, supposedly, it's just because of the rehost. Nothing crazy there. And they'll start off by getting the hatches opened. Of course, Panic's able to do that with his blowtorch, and it's not going to cost him too much of his gas cannon stuff, but if they do want to try and get a lot of these walls in piano open, they need to be careful how they expend it, as they've brought no other hard breaches. And of course, he can just, get rid of those evil eyes as well, but given that they're all on site, it'll be very unlikely.
Just want to quickly point out, it's a very basic thing for us, right? But maybe for the new viewer that didn't really get it. When you see Nello just shooting up that face right there in the corner, and throw an air jab in it, people would be like, why would you shoot that? Why don't you just instantly throw the air jab in it? That's just purely to actually cover it up right there. You're going to still hear it, but you're just not going to be able to see it as quickly. You might catch a defender off guard. So that's why you quickly shut up that face just to quickly cover that up and create another advantage for himself.
That's a really good aspect to point out. Of course, a lot of these viewers who are sitting here might be watching EUL to learn a few things, and that air jab in the vase trick is a really good one to learn from. And, well, I'm not sure what was shot there, whether that was a drone or not. That'll be interesting, but this is another thing to learn as well, ladies and gentlemen. If there is a pulse below, make sure you clear him, because otherwise you're going to lose some key players in Piano, and Nello will go out the door. He's already used one of his air jabs. I'm not sure if he used another, but it won't be too much of a loss. And good harassment with the Evil Eye from Virtue there.
They actually tried to go for a double impact right there, but they kind of failed to do so. But it's Doki that just repelled in right there. Is going to be able to get the kill into Virtue. Smoke Cannon is now being deployed, but will be instantly shut down by Yuno right there. In the meantime, the plant's going down, though. It's just panics in Kendra left. There's smoke canisters everywhere. It's going to be Citizen to go down. Is this going to be the one that Na'Vi will win? They do have a Monty in an after plant situation. Not supposed to lose this, as Bangu is going on the hunt. Panics is going outside and managed to actually get the kill. They need to go for the defuse now. He's going up on the skylight, but they managed to cover themselves perfectly. It needs to be in hatch drop if they want to be able to stop this, but with 1 second on the clock, it's G2 that will get it. It's the draw to come in, and both will take home 1 point today. Even though Na'Vi, they might have wanted to get the full 3, especially in the afterplant situation, with the Monty on your side.
Wow, I thought that was going all wrong for G2 there. Alas, they threw it together in the last seconds of that execute. Of course, the shield of Kendru, he needed to back up. He wasn't able to. What a shame, but absolute shout out to both of these teams. Very evenly matched here on Cafe.
Well, just one thing to mention: Doki got more kills in the Amaru than the entirety of the NA scene. So we're gonna be closing with that one and throw it over to our analysts and Milos to see what they have to say.